Good morning, hello, and welcome back to TisforTemidayo. It is 1:14 p.m. Today is Friday, January 9th, 2026. Today is 40 days of 365 days of tea for me. 40 days, baby. Let's get started. Today we're going to do our shoulders as marked by our muscle T. There's the goop. Yes. Now, for a second there, I was like, I don't know that this is working. Only because it was like a month and I should have absolutely had two different gloves on. I forgot that shoulders means two gloves. Everything else I can do with like one good glove. But shoulders, we need the two gloves because it's above shoulder height. And I need to be able to exercise both spaces. So you're just gonna see me very deftly transfer this glove between both these arms. Until all of this lovely goop is in my system. One more pass of the other arm, and then I think we're good. Oh, that good juice. Oh, that good juice. Come get your juice. We're done. Okay. While that dries, we will celebrate the fact that we've been doing this for 40 days. 40 days and 40 nights. 40 days. 40 of them. Now, some of the things that I have absolutely been noticing. Like I said earlier, my voice is in fact getting richer in the bottom. What I wake up with in the morning, my good morning voice, my fresh out of bed voice lasts longer in the day. At first I was worried, oh my God, am I gonna lose my upper range? But as you all have been hearing with my voice and my singing, my upper range is still there, which is wonderful. I know it's only a month and 10 days in, so there is still potential for that to change, but right now I'm still exercising my upper register to make sure that stays open and clear, and exercising my lower register to make sure that that feels really refined the way that I want it to, so that I can use this entire register when I'm singing. I'm like, I can sing that an octave down, I can sing that an octave up, which I think is fierce. What else? Y'all, the front bottom growth is real. It's really happening. I looked down the other day, maybe yesterday. Like I actually took like a flashlight and looked down there. And again, as you all know, as I've said, like I don't really be paying too much attention to what's happening down there by sight. I do it mostly by feel, so that I don't accidentally activate myself in some sort of dysphoric way. But I was feeling curious, and so I was like, let me just take a little flashlight, look down. Now, for those of you who are born with this style of front bottom growth, you recognize, like, if you experience some sort of peaking energy, a little AROUSAL energy, you'll recognize, like, okay, yeah, like it will tend to expand. I believe that's called vasocongestion. And shout out to Hayok for teaching me that word. And so yeah, you'll notice, okay, yeah, it's expanded. And similar to like my bedroom voice feels like it's taking me into the day, what my front bottom growth looks like is like what it has looked like when I am peaked in my AROUSAL, and it's just staying all the time. And I was like, oh, that's very cool. I love that. In addition, my redacted opening, VULVA, has maintained a level of moisture that I haven't had since before birth control. Oh my God, I don't know if I've actually ever talked about my brief and horrible stint with birth control. So let's talk about it now. I've been on two birth controls in my life. This was when I was in a long-term monogamous relationship with a cis man, and we were doing more um, vaginal sex. So I had birth control, two forms. I started with the pill, straight up, taking it every day. I was noticing too, like my chest was getting bigger. I was starting to gain a little bit of weight, which is, I don't, it is what it is. It comes with the territory. And, but otherwise, like the functions of my redacted were chill, all pretty much as they had been up to that point. And this was in like my early 20s. So, yes, there's a cause to say like my body was going to continue to change. Ooh, spicy. But for the most part, like I knew what I was expecting. Cut to about 3 weeks later on the pill, because I'm like having a follow-up appointment with my GYN, and she's like, you should switch to the implant, the arm implant that goes in. It lasts for 3 to 5 years. You don't have to worry about taking a daily pill. It'll regulate itself. It'll slowly release over the course of that time. And I was like, oh, okay, great. She's convinced me. Let's do it. Right off the bat. Most GYN's offices are not safe places. I'll just say that. Um, and I know this one because she was pressuring me to get this implant. Um, and two, when she was putting the implant in, it's like a small device, like this big, goes inside either side of the arm. She was putting the implant in. She put in some sort of numbing agent injection. Did not wait for that injection to completely numb my space. And I even told her, hey, I'm still feeling sensation here. She said it'll be fine by the time I'm placing the birth control, you'll be numb. I was not. So I felt her tearing through my tissue in my arm to place this fucking implant in. That was red flag number 2. Is it dry now? Itchy, honestly, a little itchy. I usually do my shoulders. I don't really like it's like concentrated in a short, small area. I prefer big swaths of skin. That way I don't feel, chill. That way I don't feel that like spiciness. But yeah. Anyway, so she puts it in abusively. I'm like, cool, that hurt. And she was like, sorry about it. Horrible. And then for about a year and a half, about 18 months of time, I kid you not, I was bleeding every day. Every single day for 18 months. I don't even know what to say. Um, it was literally torture. Like psychological, physical torture. I cannot stress enough how devastating that was for my physical and mental health. Not only was my body just overall weaker, of course, I'm bleeding every single day. I cannot build enough blood to keep up with how much is being drawn out of me every single day. That, the psychological toll that was taking, just feeling like a stranger in my own flesh, horrible. And then not even to mention what was going down in my redacted. I'm bleeding every day, so I don't really want to be touched. I feel dirty and disgusting. And that comes with its own, bag of worms, feeling dirty, but also being like, I kept asking her, is this normal? Is this normal? Is this normal? And she kept saying, yeah, 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 it's fine. Some people go, some people just, it'll get lighter and then it'll stop. And I kept waiting for okay, maybe this is it, when it'll stop. Because it did in fact get lighter, but it was still happening every day. And because of that result of just like constantly being drained out, the lining of my redacted channel was so thin that if I tried to engage in any kind of play with my partner, my skin would tear. So what are we doing then this for? The whole point was to be able to have some play, to feel safe in that play, to know that there was not going to be any kind of progeny coming out of that play. And now we can't even play. So I barely was getting like any kind of affection of that sort. I started to essentially develop like a phobia because I knew what was coming. And then on top of both of those things, I wasn't creating any more mucus and discharge. So if I wasn't actively bleeding, I was dry. I sometimes think about it. I don't think about it as much anymore because it's been like 6 years since I finally got it out of my body. No, maybe earlier, maybe like 7 years. But that was probably like physically one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult period of my life because it was going on for so long. And every day I felt less and less like I had any agency over my own flesh. I think that it was a big part of why that relationship ended. Not because we actively couldn't play, but because I literally didn't feel like myself anymore. And it's hard to, be in a relationship with someone when you don't even feel like you have a relationship with yourself. So, I got that taken out. And I remember at that point, I think I had already ended things with that partner. But I remember wanting to like ask for a lot of numbing agent when it was time to take it out. And I did not go back to the same place to take it out as I did to put it in. And you might be wondering, how long did you have it in? I had it in for 3 years. And the reason that I had it in for so long was because I kept thinking, well, I've already been in it for this long. I might as well get the full benefit of it. I might as well let it, you know, do the thing that it said it was supposed to do. I've already like sacrificed so much for it. I might as well reap some of the benefits of it. It's not a great relationship to be having with one's birth control. That's not a great relationship to really be having with anything. But yeah, it was time for me to take it out. And I went to a different space, a different clinic. I remember the physician coming in, and I told her like the last time they put it in, I could feel it and it was horrible and it hurt so much. She's like, okay, we'll put in a little bit of extra numbing cream. So she put the numbing cream and she put the numbing injection or whatever it was. She waited. She waited. And I remember she was like ready to actually extract it from my arm. And I was like gripping everything I could. I was so tense. I was shaking. feeling like, oh my God, this is going to be as painful as it was coming out as it was going in. I was shaking. I could barely breathe. And then I remember hearing like a clink, and I like opened my eyes and looked up, and she was like, "It's out." And I felt nothing. Thankfully, I didn't feel any pain. I didn't feel any pain about it getting extracted. And I asked to see it. I was like, "Can I see it?" And I saw it. This little 2-inch white rod that had been in my arm for 3 years. And I remember looking at it and then immediately bursting into tears. Just like weeping, shaking, all of that holding that I had been doing in that office, in that relationship for those 3 years that it was in my body. I remember all of those days waking up, crying, being like, I'm bleeding again. All the insecurities about, okay, well, I can't even trust my own intuition. I have to go off of what the doctor is saying. All of that got released at the same moment. And I was sobbing in that office, sobbing. And they just let me cry. I think they handed me like some juice and some cookies to replenish my system because I was so like, I don't even think I had eaten. I was so nervous that day. And my biggest fear, I remember now, my biggest fear with taking it out was that I was going to start bleeding every day again. Because I had been doing it for 18 months of the 36 months that it was in my body. And the first physician that I was seeing, if I can even call her that at that point, the first person that I was talking to was like, yeah, sometimes when you take it out, you'll start bleeding again. And I remember being like, I can't do that again. I need some time between when it finally stopped and when I was going to take it out and presumptively have that start again. So when I was sitting in that physician's office after having it getting extracted, I kept being like, am I gonna start bleeding again? Like, what's gonna happen? Da, da, da. And they were like, you're probably just gonna go back to your normal cycle. Like, it's gonna be okay. And I cried. I almost wanted to keep it, the the implant itself, but they were like, it's like medical waste. You gotta throw it in the trash. And I went home and I held my breath for about 2 weeks, waiting for all of a sudden for me to start shedding again. And it never happened. And I probably cried some more, just thinking about how much that birth control had cost my body, had cost my mind. And I remember thinking to myself, I wish I could get back with my partner, my ex at the time. I wish I could get back with him because I feel like finally they'd be able to meet me for real and we'd be able to actually play the way that we wanted to play. Because I had gotten the implant soon after we had started dating because I was like, okay, we're like boyfriend and girlfriend, we're doing this, like let me do my part to make sure we are practicing this safely, you know? So it was only like maybe 2 or 3 months into us like dating full time that I got this. And we were together for 3.5 years. So that meant about 3 years and 3 months of that time together, I was not myself. And now anytime anyone's like, oh, what kind of birth control should I get, if they, if they bring it up in conversation and I'm around, I'm like, do not get that implant. And I'm not the only one that's had the experience. Some people have had great experiences with it. It does the job. They don't feel huge amounts of change. But I know enough people that were like, that arm implant birth control ruined my life. So take it from me, as someone who's like been around that block. If you have the option, choose something else. Right now, mine looks like testosterone. And we will talk more about these changes tomorrow because I have been going for 20 minutes straight. If you have made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you listening, you hearing my testimony, hearing my story. I know I'm not the only one who's experienced this, and it feels so incredibly good to be able to talk about it and know that it is in the past, and know also that I'm like relearning my relationship to my body through this incredible process. So I love you all. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow for another tune in for Temidayo. Bye.